Hello, everybody. Working out the kinks.
I sent you the new Foundry link just in case you didn't have it, Trash Man. It is in the Gilded.
I think I put it in Discord as well.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I sent it to him.
That's a good. So, chat, we're here. We're alive. Just working out some things. Sorry for all the messages in the chat. I've been working on a new bot, or a new old bot, and just working out the kinks and stuff. So, exclamation point commands in the chat. Everybody, if you want to get a list of the commands that are the new commands that are available at the moment. The timers are running. Hopefully, we'll get that all sorted. Quotes are on. So if you, especially through D&D, we're bound to get a quote that is interesting and funny. The quotes through this bot allow profanity, so you can swear your head off in the quotes. It's great. So exclamation point, add quote and space, and then add your quote, and it automatically dates it. Make sure you put the user or the person that quoted. Exclamation point space quote dash the person that made the statement and or quote, and then enter, and it should work. But why is that freezing up on me? That was weird. But anywho, we're here. It's Sunday. We're live. Nutty's finished making a whole bunch of noise. It's not on the list. I can see me in the list, I think. So we can we confirm that we are definitely live before we go any further?
Yeah, definitely live, but you're just not my face list. You're not showing up.
That'll be a Twitch thing then.
There it is. I had to go show more.
Yeah, that'll be a Twitch thing.
Yeah, it's showing it right at the bottom of the list, except for the fact that it's got more people watching than the bottom of the list.
Interesting.
So go 7543327.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
hey, at least we're live, okay? We're there. I mean, that's the main thing. We're here and we're live. Not on yours. Yeah, I don't know. Again, that'll be a random Twitch thing. As long as people are here and saying hello. Hello, everybody. And that was a burp. Oh my god. So, just to show you guys that they are working, mods. My burp command's back. I put it back in. It's there. There's a whole bunch of other commands that I have actually turned off at the moment. So, so without any further ado, I suppose we should get into it. No Marath tonight, as Mr. Stib is on his 4 on, so we will not be seeing him this week, this Sunday or next Sunday. But as far as I know, at this stage, he will be here for next Wednesday. So Fibblestib will be in for the Curse of Strahd. But anywho, let's get into it. We will start with the recap from last week. So, last we left off, you had all woken from a night's rest, joining Sergeant Stormhammer, who met you on the parade ground. And as you were waiting for your day's instructions, a new recruit was dragged across the parade ground in shackles. This new recruit, short, blonde hair, bleeding and bruised, was then put in the lineup with you, unshackled. So, seemingly this particular individual had been accused of assassinating the Queen. However, the Queen must have been feeling rather generous and just didn't bite his head off immediately, and instead gave him an option: die or join my army. He chose the latter, saving his own skin in the process. You were sent then to march around the parade ground for an hour or so, with the proviso that if you did well, you'd be taken outside of the keep's walls and survival training expedition. However, your marching went a little bit longer than expected because, unfortunately, this new recruit, uncoordinated as he is, tripped, fell on Marath, and many of the others didn't really fall into step right away. It took you quite some time before you managed to get your rhythm and looked somewhat like soldiers. After a while, the sergeant sends you to collect your weapons, and then you're led out on a patrol of sorts. More training, it seems, basic survival. You head out for a while, marching out into the forest. Then you're instructed by Sergeant Stormhammer to find a suitable campground, maybe some food, wood, and things of that nature. Marath and the new recruit are quick to find a good campsite with water source, good flat ground, and a good windbreak. The rest of you, however, seemed a little more difficult in finding some things. Uth, not seeming overly interested in searching for anything, instead carving his name into a tree, which Sergeant Stormhammer was not overly pleased about, but managed to get away with not being punished too badly. You're then instructed to continue walking until you reach a clearing. As you reach this clearing, I would imagine many of your sort of hearts sank a little bit as you see more soldiers dressed in the militia colours, training dummies and of such, and realize that Sergeant Stormhammer wasn't entirely truthful about your expedition out into the wilderness, and you've been led into another training ground of sorts. Once there, you've been told that this is almost a live fire training exercise. The robed individuals at the other end of this clearing make motions of casting, and next thing you know, you have 2 large dire wolves and a couple of smaller regular wolves charging at your direction, at your position. The new recruit reaches the pack first, surging out in front. Dilly is the first to strike the beast, however, as she casts a firebolt, as many of you miss your attacks with javelins and bows and things going wide. Uth then engages his psychic ability to reduce an attack made on the new recruit, enabling him to take a little bit less damage. Uth then moves in with his rapiers and attacks, doing minimal damage, but gains the attention of a direwolf and is immediately set upon. Tolvir, after being attacked by a smaller wolf, grinning from ear to ear as he seems to be enjoying this combat, raises his axe high and dispatches one of the wolves expertly. Marath then moves into the fray to aid Uth and the new recruit in the main pack. Varys at this point attempts to talk to the creatures, casting Speak with Animals. Unfortunately, they seem to ignore him, and it doesn't seem to have any effect. Uth once again reaches out with his mind with telekinesis and moves the new recruit out of harm's way. He does receive an attack of opportunity, however, but he seems to be scooted out of the way quite quickly. Tolvir then uses his wings to lift himself off the air and gains a bit of a benefit as he swoops in to attack another of the wolves, dealing heavy damage to a direwolf and raising his wings, make himself seem large and intimidating. Seems to work as this direwolf turns to face him instead of his companions. Marath then finishes off another wolf with his large double-bladed scimitar at this point. Varys, by now realizing his words have not had any effect, attempts to switch to his bow and fires, but I think Steve still needs a little more training as the shot goes wide. By this stage, I think Dilly's had about enough of all this and steps forward, holds her hands out and concentrates, the magic missile streaking from her focus, striking 2 of these creatures and dispatching them relatively easily. Once you have dealt with the final of these individuals, you are out of your initiative. Sergeant gives you a half-hearted sort of praise as you gather together. The cleric that was with the casters stands forward and starts to heal you or bring you all back to your former health. And it is at this moment that as she reaches out to touch the new recruit, a large swirling portal opens behind him, and in an instant he is snatched from this realm and sent back to wherever he came from. As the portal opens, Dilly makes a dash for it, hoping to maybe reach this portal, knowing exactly what it is and knowing where this recruit has potentially come from. But unfortunately is just a little slow and is unable to reach it in time as the portal closes mere feet in front of her, much to her anguish as she drops to her knees. Sergeant then decides to reward you, it seems, and says, well, you're going to spend the night outside of the keep walls, and marches you forward until you find a suitable campground, which happens to be by a small river. You set up camp, you drink, conversation. The sergeant gives you a little bit of information about himself in this particular moment, and some of you give some basic information about yourselves also. This is roughly where we rejoin you guys now, as the night closes in. The sergeant has headed off to his tent, and by now you can hear him heavily snoring as he seems to have drifted off. Some of you had started to drift off to your own tents as well. I'm going to turn it over to you guys now, as I think Earth had also taken off and was the first to leave and head to his tent, leaving Dilly, Various and Tolver still outside of the tents but heading in that general direction. So I'll now turn it over to you guys as you are preparing yourselves for a night's rest.
The Dilly was in the river, I think.
Yep, you're quite correct.
So Dilly's going to avoid the conversation that was making her very uncomfortable. She starts cleaning herself as much as she can, water and all that, just with the clothes on because they all stink as well. All their gear's on the river, and just starts cleaning herself. And then she gets up and just grabs her stuff, walks to the fire, and sits down to dry off for a little bit, and then looks at the two gentlemen that are still there.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a bit of a task I want you to do. I want you to stay up for another 3 hours. I want you to drink all this alcohol and make sure that this the camp is secure. And then within 3 hours time, I want you to wake me up and then go to bed yourselves.
Yes, Corporal.
It's just, I don't know if Sergeant's got any other surprises for us tonight, and I'd rather us be prepared than not. So I'd say that when the moon's there, if we wait till the moon gets to about there, then wake me up, because I don't know how we tell time.
You got it about right.
Yes, Corporal?
If that's good with you, I mean.
Yes, Corporal. Go get some rest. We'll wake you up for next watch.
Right. And Tolville will leave the campfire area, not enter a tent, and fall asleep next to one. In the dirt.
No worries.
Okay. Do you want to drink this?
Yeah, not quite sure what drinking the alcohol's for. I feel like it'd probably make us less proficient. But I mean, orders are orders, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
Dilly is going to, because I'm guessing there's only wine left now. The ale's all gone.
Pretty much.
She's going to get the wine, she's going to pour it, and she's going to pretend to drink it, but she's going to slip it so it kind of goes somewhere else. And she's going to try and so no one can see.
You're going to try and hide that from Varys?
I'm going to pretend that I'm slowly getting drunk as well as I'm doing that.
So first thing you'll need to do is make a sleight of hand. See if, and sleight of hand versus perception. So various perception on your part. Is various going to be drinking the wine?
Various will just drink the wine.
Okay. So your first one will be a straight roll. So perception versus sleight of hand. What was your sleight of hand, Mina?
I'm going to use an advantage. I got a 5, so I'm going to use an advantage to see if I can get any higher. 19.
19. Various, your
That was a
perception.
14.
So you managed to get away with it at this point in time. As Various goes to down his, eventually gets to the bottom of his cup, you toss it over your shoulder, yawning maybe, and your second check, Dilly, will be a deception check versus insight to see if your acting drunk is serviceable or not. Because I would imagine that Varys is probably reasonably perceptive to drunken behavior in the Feywild. So
I rolled a 2, but my deception is a +4, so I got a 6.
and your insight, Varys.
23.
I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah. So Varys, what you would notice is you don't notice that she's not drinking, but you would notice that as you get through maybe the second or third cup before the bottle is finally empty, you're feeling rather happy. You're getting that glow on from 2 or 3 glasses of wine. You don't see that in Dilly. It seems a little over the top, maybe. Just a little, like, you know, sometimes someone who's not quite as drunk as they actually are might put it on just a little bit thick. You've seen it before from maybe one of your siblings or a cousin, perhaps, that just want to feel like they fit in.
Miss Dilly, are you trying to have me on, miss?
Have you on?
Yeah.
With what?
You don't think as drunk as I think you should. Which is probably just as well. I don't think I'm gonna see shit out here.
I can handle my liquor pretty well. I didn't want to kind of give that away.
He grabs out his notebook. He's like, where you're trying to write, but you're drunk, and you're like, you.
I mean, you're not drunk. I mean, you've definitely... Well, let's find out how drunk you really are, Varys. Let's get a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately for you, will be a little bit low, unless you roll really high.
I got a 12.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. You're feeling all right. You're not drunk. You're definitely on the verge, though. You're right on that edge. You're definitely feeling tipsy. You're relaxed. Now you're sort of thinking about it. It's like, yeah, wine was definitely not a good idea when you're supposed to be on watch, because I really don't give a shit what's out there. That kind of, you're at that kind of level of drunkenness. Dilly, you're fine. Obviously, you haven't drunk anything.
I'm actually keeping alert and trying to see what's out there and everything like that.
So, you're feeling all right though, Varys. You're not too bad. I'll get you both to roll a perception check. Various yours will be at disadvantage, however.
Alright. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
9.
So with a 9, you're writing in your notebook. You're happy. You think you're listening to the noises of the night are a little different here than what you're used to. So you're not used to hearing the owls that you're hearing here. Not the crickets and that you hearing here is different than where you're from. So maybe you're just focusing on those differences from your home realm compared to Paradigm. Dilly, after the day's events, you've decided to remain specifically alert. You're pissed off. You're upset. Kind of a bit of everything. You're a little bit sort of going round in circles. You see some movement in the bushes just to the north of the camp. You focus on it and watch it for a little while, just trying to determine what it is. And you watch it move, and another bush over this to the right moves, and the left, and then you see the grey white fur and the pointed ears sort of step out in the smaller versions of this animal following. You remember from your night patrol earlier, it may even be the same ones, you're not sure, but a single wolf with about 6 or 7 pups, just minding their own business. They don't even really look in your direction, and then they, after about 5 minutes or so, they disappear back into the low-lying shrubs.
Ah, I see our wolf friends are back again.
Are these real ones?
Yes. This is the ones that I saw the other night.
Oh, yeah. Do you
Probably,
think we'll ever
maybe.
see Blondie again?
I don't know. Well, depends. Blondie came from the Sword Coast. How he got here, I don't know. Apparently a wizard. Wizards seems to be arseholes, don't they? But apparently that's how he got here, and that's how he got out.
Okay, next question. Do you think Uth will be alive by the time we make it in the militia properly?
Maybe missing appendages.
That'd be very unfortunate, I would imagine. Interesting to document, though.
Well, you don't need to reproduce to still fight.
Yeah, I guess that's true, yeah.
You
How
doing
long's
okay
it-
there, Various?
How long's it been now?
And I'll look up the sky and see the moon.
Roll a survival check with advantage.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure it's just a straight roll for me, but it's a 19.
19. So, with a 19, you look up and you see the single moon that Paradigm has. It's now quite high in the sky compared to what it was when you first started. So you would estimate that 2 or 3 hours has definitely passed. So it was, you were instructed by your corporal to wake him at about that time frame. So you know you're getting close to that. So pretty much any time you decided to wake him would be appropriate.
Okay, you want to wake up the dragon-looking fella that wants to court the queen?
Yeah, this could be interesting. I know how you'd wake a dragon man thing.
I have a few ideas, but I think that could be. Do you think the corporal would mind? It's better than coffee. You and I both know it's better than coffee.
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
I'm just sparking ideas here.
I don't know that you should electrocute the corporal. Although it could be. No. There's not enough wine here to make that seem like a good idea.
Dilly's going to go up to the corporal. Use, well, not up to the corporal, but go near the corporal. Use mage hand and tap him on the forehead to say "wake up." And it will be this, and it will be a hand, and it will be like, you know how you see a cloud and it will have, for its veins will be like lightning rods and all that kind of stuff in it.
Yep.
Like lightning veins. But it will appear like a mist. But it will go boom on his head.
I'd say it wouldn't take much to wake Tolvir. But up to you, DM. Whether you want me to roll to see whether I wake
No,
him.
it would definitely wake you up. I mean, you've had this kind of experience before, so you would be sleeping but not sleeping, if you get my meaning. You would know that you're going to be woken at some point for a watch, so you'd be kind of a light sleeper, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So you would wake fairly easily.
Corporal. Heads up.
Thank you. Good morning. Well, evening. I don't know what it is. Alright, I'm awake.
Nothing to report, sir. Just the wolves that I saw the last time we were on watch the night before, a few nights ago. Probably the same ones.
Alright, so it is. I'm not
They've
sure
got
if
a.
I knew those here, but alright.
Bear in mind, it's got pups, so it will be territorial against its pups. So,
Sweet as.
okay.
I should go to bed then and I'll watch for the rest of the night.
Yes, Corporal. And Gilly will look towards Various and go, "Nanai," and she will find a tree. And she will go into the tree near the camp and go and lay in the branches.
Nice. Roll an athletics check, please, to see how well you managed to climb this tree. Because I mean, you're not exactly tall, and the trees around here don't have a lot of low-lying branches. You'd have to find a specific tree and attempt to climb it. 3. I would say I'm not going to say you don't get up there, but it takes you a good 40 minutes to reach that first branch.
She's not going high. She just wants to be in the tree.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
she...
but the first branch is still about 4.5 feet off the ground, so you got to find. It takes you a while to manage to think, but what the fuck? And you just stood there looking, trying to make it up. Tolvir, you can make a perception check to see if you notice her struggling, and your decision on whether to aid her or not is all yours. But for 15 minutes or so, you're watching Dilly trying to climb this tree.
19.
19? You definitely notice. She's moved behind one of the tents, but even at one point, about 5 minutes in, you hear this sort of thump. And you thought, what the hell? And you stand up and you look over the tent, and you can see Dilly jumping, trying to reach the lower branch on this tree. And she definitely looks like she's struggling. So what you do is up to you.
After a few minutes of watching, Tolvir will walk up behind her, and then with his tail, push her up the tree, like between her legs. I know what you're thinking, but
So Dilly, I'd say you're probably too preoccupied to even notice that he's come up behind you because you're really trying to get up that tree, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you feel something brush the inside of your knees and up your thighs, and all of a sudden you're lifted, and now you're pretty much there at the branch that you wanted to be on. You could almost walk straight to it.
Dilly's going to grab the branch, turn around, ready to do a firebolt until she sees that it's actually the corporal.
Awesome. So as you turn,
I'll have my hand.
Yeah, fireball
my hand
glowing in your hand.
Yeah, the earrings going nuts. My hand's like, oh, thank you, Corporal.
What you would see is Tolby is standing with his back to you with his tail sticking right up in the air. Like, perfect shot if you wanted to find.
She's going to not do it. And she's going to say, thank you, Corporal. A little warning next time would be appreciated.
Sorry.
Yes. Thanks. And she's going to curl up
I
into
feel
the
solid and
little crook of
unusual.
Marios heading to his tent with the last of the wine he's got.
Yeah.
He's going to rub his eyes, like looking up at them, tip the wine out. He's like, this place is... yeah. It's a weird place, and he's going to go to bed.
No worries. So you turn in, Dilly, you're up in the tree. Those that are wearing armor know that when you do sleep, you do have to remove your armor. Otherwise, you do not get the benefit of a long rest, and you will suffer a point of exhaustion. So you do have to remove your armor.
Dilly does not wear armor.
Doesn't wear armor?
Dilly does not wear armor. So Dilly is curled up in a ball in the tree, kind of like a comfort from home kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say Dilly's small enough that wouldn't be an issue. Various wears armor, does he not? So yeah, you would have to remove your armor, as would Uth. And the sergeant's obviously removed his armor. So just bear in mind that when you are sleeping in a camp at night or in the barracks, if anything does happen and a combat situation does evolve, you just have to remember that you will not be wearing armor, so your AC will be lower. So just bear that in mind. So with that being said, Tolvir, you sit at the campfire, you restoke it up to ensure that it remains burning throughout the remainder of the evening.
Tolby is going to stoke the fire. He's going to find 5 long sticks. Sort of inch thick sort of sticks.
Okay.
And he's going to stick them in so that one end's in the fireplace. And then after sitting there for about half an hour so they're good and burning, he's going to walk around the edge of the camp and put them around the edge of the camp.
Okay.
Just stab them into the ground so they're effectively torches.
Yep.
And Tolby is also going to climb a tree. He's going to climb up a tree sort of much higher than Dilly was at, and he's going to lie down on a thickish branch, looking down over the camp.
No need for an athletics roll for you because you have your wings, which you are able to utilize, and you do so, flying yourself 30 feet up into a largest tree, about 15 feet from the camp. As the camp's in a little bit of a clearing, 15-20 feet outside the clearing, you do find a tree that would be suitable. You get up into that sort of 20-30 feet mark, and then climb the rest, which is relatively easy for you with your strength and dexterity. You find a suitable branch. You also do not wear armor, so you do not need to remove it. And you sit and watch. I'll need a perception roll from you, please. Do you have dark vision by any chance? I don't think you do. You do not. So with the makeshift torches, they won't burn for a long time because they're obviously just sticks. They will smolder away and give off a little amount of light, but probably more so ward off animals than actually give light. So yours... 5. Okay, so with a 5, you don't really see a hell of a lot outside of the camp, which is pretty fitting considering you don't have dark vision. The camp itself is giving off a reasonable amount of light, sort of 20-30 feet of sort of brightish to dim light, and then very dim light out to another 20 or so feet. But you do hear over the course of the next hour the owls hooting in the trees. You hear the bugs, the water. You hear the occasional wolf howl off in the distance. At one point you thought you heard the snapping of a branch or a twig, maybe sounded like it was from the northwest. You focus on that for a time, maybe 5 minutes, and then nothing else sort of comes to your attention.
Over the course of the rest of the night, every couple of hours he'd go down to restoke the fire, just so that there is a light source in there.
You will have to wake someone at some point. You will not be able to do the remainder of the night on your own, otherwise you will gain a level of exhaustion. So you will have to wake someone else for that last sort of 2 or 3 hours before sunup. So
take the exhaustion.
You're going to take the exhaustion?
Yep.
No worries. So you decide not to wake anybody else up and remain on watch for 5 or 6 hours. And as the sun starts to rise, you do notice as you're looking down over the camp, the sergeant rises relatively early, as does Marath. You see from your position, and probably overhear a little bit of the conversation as well, the sergeant says to Marath, early this morning I received a message that you are to return to the temple for a few days. So I suggest you head back before your companions wake up, and we'll see you back at barracks when you're returned. And you see Marath pack up his pack and his weapon and start following that trail and heading back to the south towards the keep. At that point, Sergeant puts his armor and everything back on and sits down and starts brewing what smells like to you up in the trees, a large pot of coffee.
Tolvir is going to stand on the branch. He's going to wrap his tail around the branch and effectively flop forward so that he's hanging by his tail, and he's going to dig his claws into the branch and just sort of hang like a bat.
Roll a strength check for me.
Uh-oh.
I mean, he's not a bat, but
19.
19 is pretty good. Can we get rid of Supernova, please? Mods. He's not a bat, but his tail and his strength holds true. And you manage to hang upside down. I just need to roll a quick roll here. See if someone notices, and he does. As you're hanging upside down, looking down at the camp, you see the sergeant look up at you and just gives you a bit of a salute and goes back to brewing the coffee.
Tolvir would salute back.
Does Dilly smell the coffee at this point, considering she's outside?
I think everyone probably would by this point. It's the sun's starting to come up. Your guys' body clocks. You guys' body clocks are starting to kick in. You've been 2 or 3 or 4. This is now your 5th day as recruits in the militia. You're getting used to that sort of early morning start. We're now into the 6th day of Azil, which is Adreth.
Mm-hmm. So Dilly's just going to quietly walk up behind the sergeant and say, "Sergeant, can I have a cup? Sergeant, please."
You trying to be stealthy?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm trying to be quiet. For stories, I want to be a shit. Yeah, I'm going to stealth.
Okay, stealth check, please.
21.
Wow, interesting. Let's have a quick roll here as well. Not bad, not bad. Sergeant doesn't even flinch as you silently walk up behind him and state your request, and he turns and gives you a sly grin and says, "Gotta wait for it to be brewed first, but sure, that's what it's for. Gotta start a day with a coffee."
You mean I have to wait? I could have stayed up in the tree a bit longer.
You could have.
I mean, sorry, Sergeant. And she's gonna go back into.
I haven't given you an order yet, so you're all right. At ease.
Thank fuck for that. Oh, I need coffee. She'll just sit down.
While it's brewing, the sergeant then, noticing Varius and Uth have not yet risen. Varius is probably still a little, not really tipsy, but he's probably struggling a little bit with the alcohol that's on board, and Uth is probably just being Uth and just loves his sleep. So first wanders over to Varius's tent, sort of kicks you in the hoof. Up you get, boyo.
No, I've had quite enough wine. It's all right. Oh. Hey, Sergeant.
I see you finished the bottle. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that coffee out there as more than the rest of us, I think. You all right? You look a bit red-eyed. I thought you lot were good at drinking.
Drool off his beard. That wine's a little different than. I don't know. I'm getting up, Sergeant. It's...
Okay, make a Constitution save for me.
4.
Ooh. Yeah, you're not doing well. Like, you got that little bit of a headache. Like, it's right on the verge of being a really bad headache, but it's sort of just sitting right there. But the moment you sit up, the world goes into just a massive spin, like a massive head spin. Just a single big spin, and yeah, you can't help yourself. You need to be sick. It's not sitting well at all.
I'll just try really hard not to yak on Sergeant.
Well, I mean, it's up to you where you do it, but it's there. You're definitely going to hurl. What you do now is up to you. You know you're going to be sick. Oh. It's definitely coming.
I'll try and sort of face away from the sergeant. And
how are we going to do this? Roll for me another dexterity check. Just a dex check.
Mm-hmm.
DC's. I'm not setting DC super high.
20.
You're good with the 20. Yeah, you managed to. You sort of go, oh, excuse me, and sort of push past him a little bit and round the side of the tent and just yak all over the side of the tent. It's up the side of the tent, all over the ground. Like, it was away from the campfire, so you didn't get any coffee or anything like that. So you definitely managed to sort of not save grace, but save yakking all over the sergeant. Better out than in, I say. You might.
Yeah.
You're right. You're gonna feel like shit later.
Really have to wash this tent later.
I think we might have to burn it. Looking at that.
Coffee.
What did you
good.
eat? That smells disgusting.
I don't know what anything I've eaten since I got here is. I don't think.
Hey, that's fair. I mean, I don't think anyone knows what we eat at the keep. To be honest.
It's all the one color. It's very strange.
Indeed. All right, sort yourself out and get yourself over to the fire. Get some coffee in you. Where's that fucking doof? And he starts walking over to your tent, Uth. I'd say by now you probably have heard his voice, because he's not a quiet man. by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. So you've definitely heard his voice. It's probably it's woken you, but it's up to you whether you decide to get up or not.
Yeah, get up, start getting the armor on.
So you do wake. You get yourself, start getting yourself organized. Where is my forest day? I lost my forest day. Never mind, we'll have to get past that. But anywho, you start to dress as the the flap on your tent is shoved to one side relatively aggressively. Oh, there it is. I found it. And he says, "You're always
Sergeant.
the last to get up, aren't you?"
I gotta get the beauty sleep, Sergeant.
Beauty sleep. You'd have to be asleep for a feckin' long time, boy, for you to become beautiful.
No harm in trying.
Oh, well, no harm to me. Definitely harm to you. Keep trying, see what happens. Get your ass out here, get some coffee before we start packing up camp.
Not saying anything starts to toddle out.
And by this time, Sergeant gets back to the camp. He looks over the coffee, gives it a bit of a stir, and then starts pouring cups and hands a cup off to everyone. And it's strong. Like, I'm talking almost spoon stand up in the coffee type strong. It's thick, it's strong, and he almost just guzzles it back like piping hot, like it was nothing. Nothing beats
Dilly's
a
gonna-
strong cup of coffee in the morning.
Dilly's gonna take a sip. Heard stronger. And she's gonna take a drink, but she's not gonna scull it back.
It's hot. So
It's it'll
definitely
be
hot.
yeah.
Tolvira is going to attempt to go from upside down to up the right way,
That would be acrobatics.
falling from the branch to land on the ground.
Okay, acrobatics. Please, Mr. Tolvir.
Oh shit. Why?
And a dexterity save, please, as you don't really flip, but more like fall from the tree
8.
and slam sideways onto the ground. You hear a rib crack. You think, oh shit, that's going to leave a mark. You don't break it, but you definitely cracked a rib. Takes the wind out of you, and you will take some damage as you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam into the ground with a pretty good force. And with disadvantage, just remember ability checks are at disadvantage. I forgot that. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot.
Did Various and I get the benefits of a long rest?
You did. So did Uth
Okay.
and Marath. Yeah, don't forget your inspirations and your advantages, guys. Chat, just before I reiteration, when you give out your advantages and things in chat with the channel points, use the person's Twitch name in the chat, so you can either at them or just type it in, because the new bot will actually tag them in it, so they will be able to see more clearly in the chat that you've given them those points.
That includes exhaustion too.
What do you mean? Your exhaustion's
got one level over.
your exhaustion's gone. You got a long rest.
Cool.
Yeah. So your exhaustion from the day before is when you take a long rest, it should automatically take it off anyway. If you've marked it in D&D Beyond. So with that,
Tolvir will pick himself up, and then he'll go over and join the others, and hopefully get served some coffee.
you'll get some coffee. Like Sergeant Stormhammer for once, I mean, even though he's a hard ass, definitely, he doesn't seem to be in any kind of rush at this point, which is a little unusual. But he seems to be just taking his time. Marath is not here. If in case you haven't noticed, he's been called back to the Temple of the Steel Lady for some training. He'll be away for a few days. Best part of a week, possibly. But he will return and join you when he's done. So, what are we going to do with you for? I wonder today. What would you like to do? What kind of training would you prefer, shall we say?
I feel like that is a trap, Sergeant.
Everything's a trap, lass.
I feel like the wine was a trap. My horns hurt. That's not supposed to happen.
How tall is Various? I
He's
don't
5
think
foot.
I could reach.
He's 5'9", so yeah, it would be a struggle to reach him.
Are we in formation at the moment, or
No,
are we still
you're still at ease.
Okay, Dilly is going to try and climb up Various to, you know, soothe his horn, you know, poor thing kind of thing.
Oh my
Do
God.
I have to make an athletics check for that? Because I'm going to have to climb his ass, aren't I? I'm
Will
3'5".
will depend on whether Various A lets you and B assists you.
Various?
I prefer you didn't.
So, would you know that's what I was doing?
Probably not.
So are you still going, even though he's said he prefer you don't, are you still going to...
Because I didn't voice it out. Is that Grim made it prefer I didn't know this fact?
Yeah, did Various say that, or
He
actually
wouldn't
no,
know.
he wouldn't
I don't
know.
think.
So
He'd be-
Dilly, you attempt to, as you go to attempt to climb Various, Various, at this point you would now know that something's kind of weird, as this little gnome is trying to climb up your back as you're... Well, you'd be seated, I'd imagine, by this point. So you probably would be able to reach his horns from there, actually, without climbing him. You'd probably have to reach tippy toes, maybe?
I'm doing mental calculations because I'm 5'9" and a half,
Yeah.
and I'm doing that whole thing.
I mean, you'd probably still have to maybe step on his... maybe his lap to sort of reach, potentially. So...
I'll do it just at the tip of where the horn starts instead of going right around. So I'll just do it at the tip.
Just the tip, okay.
Just the tip.
They do go round and down, so...
Well, then I'll be able to
she's-
go around and down.
She's going to go round and down just the tip. Cool. So, what are you attempting to do with the tip?
I'm just like as you would with a cat going down, just like as you're soothing a child's hair or something along those
so
lines.
You're just,
So just
you're
doing
rubbing
that.
his horn, then.
Yeah, to make it so it doesn't, you know, there, it's all better.
Rubbing the tip of his horn. Got it. So, as... I don't think it would be unpleasant, Various, unless you don't like people touching your horn. So I'll leave it up to you how you respond to that, as Dilly just gently strokes your horn.
Dilly would be in Minotaur actually going, there, it's okay. And there's a reason for that, but there, it's okay in Minotaur. So whether he understands that or not.
Does Various speak Minotaur?
I don't believe I do.
I don't think you do, from memory.
No. I
So-
speak a lot of languages, but not that
but
one.
you definitely would not be aware of what is being said.
This coffee is good, but it's a bit crunchy and loud. And I gotta know, Dilly, what are you doing?
Not helping? It always helped, you know, my brothers. You know, it's like making them feel better.
Sergeant's sort of standing there with his second cup of coffee now, just head tilted to one side, eyebrow raised, kind of just shaking his head.
Well, that's what I did when they had a hangover. You used to make him feel better. And you don't really have hair, so I kind of thought this was the thing that you do.
But she's standing on me.
I'll look down. Am I actually standing on him or something that's levering up? Like,
This is. I mean, it was weird to begin with.
But that just got real weird. I mean,
I meant like a rock or something that's near him or something. Jesus Christ. A rock that might be near
rock
him.
hard. No.
someone's got to quote that one for sure. Am I standing on him or something that's levering up? Dilly.
Am I standing on
You are standing.
Various, or am
You
I
are standing
or
on
a rock?
Various. Yes, you are.
And so Dilly will look down and go, "Oh, sorry," and she'll quickly jump back because she would have thought she would have been standing on a rock or something along those lines.
Personal space is important, Dilly. I appreciate the sentiment.
You never had anyone take care of you when you were sick?
Overly. To the point of exhaustion. Yes.
Right. And Dilly will go to her pack and actually get out her notebook and write down, Various is a grumpy patient, and actually write that in her notebook. Or her book that she's got. And in it, she'll actually put a circle, like a horn, and say, do not touch.
Okay, do not touch Varys's horn. I got it.
Pretty much, it's actually, she's written it down in her notebook.
So, with that, you collect yourselves. Eventually, the sergeant gets rid of his coffee, uses what's left of his coffee to put the fire out, and he starts collecting his goods, and then orders you guys, all right, break camp, let's go. Got a day of training ahead. Have a think about it on the way back to the keep about what you might want to do for training, anything specific for you that you would like to train in today. I got a couple of ideas, but we'll see what you come up with.
Sergeant, if it's possible, I'd like to go to the arcane range.
Are you sure? We've had some I mean, you've not had a good run of the arcane lately. I mean, the other day you disappeared. I mean, it was alright yesterday, but I mean, it's up to you. I mean, we do our best to ward and shield that kind of thing at the keep, but...
I need to try something, Sergeant.
Alright, we'll see what happens. Alright, let's get your shit together, people. Let's go. Daylight is burning.
Varys is going to grab one of his short swords and stand next to Uth. Marath is gone now, for now, and I feel like maybe I should look out for you, which I don't know if that'll work out very well, but at least I'll be close to see your dramatic and untimely demise, if things do go wrong.
Yeah, okay.
That's the most intelligent thing you've said since you've been here, I must say.
Just continue packing.
And with that...
You attack with the pointy end, right? And then I just giggle at you.
with that little gem, we're going to take 5 minutes, guys. We're just after 9 o'clock, so we're going to take 5, grab a drink, do the toileting and the things and the stuff, and we shall return in a moment. And we're back. So, welcome back, everybody. Cheers for everyone who stopped on in tonight. Good to see the peoples in the chat. Hope you guys are having a bit of fun at these guys' expense, obviously. It's always good to have fun at other people's expense. Don't forget, guys, exclamation point quote ad. If you hear something interesting or funny or anything, thanks to Mina and Grim for providing a couple of those quotes tonight. Appreciate it, guys. They will be come in handy in the future, no doubt. Exclamation point commands in the chat will give you the list of commands available through the new bot. There will be others added in there during, obviously, not D&D stuff that make noises too. So D20's there as well if you want to roll a D20. I might actually get someone in the chat to roll a D20 a little bit later. So it's just a simple D20 roll. Let you know that what you've rolled, and it's pretty neat little command. So without any further ado, we should carry on as your sergeant has given you instruction to organise yourselves, break down the camp, and get moving. As you start back through the path on the forest, there's a relatively fine day again today, a little bit of cloud. Dilly's always ever looking to the skies, but today once again it is not a overcast day. It's cloud cover here and there, but otherwise relatively clear and bright. Birds are singing. I really don't know why we have fog on this map. On this thing, there should be no fog. It's not foggy. What the hell are you doing, Foundry? Messing with my shit.
It's the morning. It's the morning dew.
The morning wood. I mean,
you said it.
that was a nod to something else. I know someone else in chat would get that. But anywho, as you start wandering, oh look. Grim got a 12 on his D20. You start wandering through the beaten path as you led back there by the sergeant. In a march, he has not allowed you guys to keep yourselves at ease at all. Leading back to the keep, he is dropped to the rear of the group, Tolvir leading, and you march back the way you came the day before. Firstly, I need everyone to roll a perception check before we go any further, including the sergeant. I rolled the wrong one. Let's roll that again. We've got a 12. We've got a natural 20 from Tolvir.
14 from Dilly.
14 from Dilly. Uth with a 12. Varys with a 4. Varys is still a little bit hungover, still headachy, still probably cursing his choices at this point. And the sergeant himself rolled reasonably well as well. And he's all of a sudden just says, just quietly says, "Halt!" And then Tolvir, you'd probably pick up on this more than anyone. He literally just makes an arm motion. Both side out to both sides. You would instantly realize that means scatter or go to ground. You've probably seen it before. Everyone else, you watch him make this motion with literally both hands sort of out this way, and he turns to you and sort of then points either side of the trail. So I need all of you now to roll a stealth check as you split off the track, sort of either side into the, much like what you see in the splash screen, undergrowth and trees, and you sort of dive for cover as instructed. Natural 20 from the sergeant.
I'm burning advantage.
Dilly's going to burn her inspo, which is a D10 roll.
No worries.
Yeah, who's going to do the same? Inspo.
14's not bad, dude. I wouldn't waste it on a 14.
I want better, okay?
It's up to
Nah, it's
you,
okay.
but yeah, it's up to you. But
Actually-
honestly, I wouldn't waste it.
I'll leave it.
Can I change that to use an advantage instead of the inspo?
Yeah, up to you.
Cool.
Once
Yeah,
you've
I'll do
used it,
that.
you've used it. So it's up to you guys.
Now that was a natural 20 for a 22. I'm so glad I
Nice.
re-rolled.
So Tolvir with a 19, Sergeant with a natural 20. We've got a natural 20 from Dilly, a 16 from Various, and 14 from Uth. As you all sort of go to ground and wait, listening, sort of wondering what the hell's going on. And then you see, crossing the path about 20 feet in front of you, a large animal of some sort. Anyone who wishes to make a survival check to see if you know what this creature is, you are I'm more than happy for you to do so. But it's definitely large. It's not something that I don't think any one of you would have seen something like this before. I'll show you what you see before I tell you what it is. If you pass the roll, this is what you see as it sort of steps out almost silently from the left-hand side of the path and then crosses over, raises its head sort of high in the air, and you hear it sniff loudly. Looking at it, doesn't appear to have any eyes at all. It's an odd creature, leathery skin, small, almost insect-like appendages on where hands or arms would be, large two-toed claws on its rear hind legs, and a large tail which looks like it, as it swings backwards and forwards, has got two large barbs on it. As it sort of stomps its way through, stops in the path, looks in your direction, but doesn't stop. What were our survival checks here? 19 from Tolvir, 7 from Various. 17 from, sorry. Survival check from you, Earth, please.
Do you wish one from Dilly? Because I don't think Dilly would even have any clue whatsoever.
You can roll it as well, but roll it at disadvantage.
I wasn't going to do it, as I probably wouldn't have any idea anyway.
Probably not.
Well,
but
I got a 3 or a 4,
Do
so...
it anyway.
if you want to, it's up to you. I mean, you don't have to. Natural 20. It still doesn't mean you're going to know. I mean, a natural 20 in these kind of situations doesn't mean you always
I've probably
win.
heard of it. Probably heard of it.
What I will say is this. For those of you over a 15, Tolvir, you've definitely seen one of these creatures before. They are normally subterranean, which is unusual to see it above ground, for one. You have not seen one up this close before. You're not entirely sure what they're called. But you've definitely seen them and heard of them. You've heard of these type of creatures. Uth as well. You've probably, in a night of drinking and gambling, have come across stories that have described these creatures, which you probably at the time probably passed off as a drunken rant of an old gambler that you've seen in an inn or a bar somewhere. Now that you're actually seeing it, it's kind of like, so he wasn't bullshitting me. There are creatures like this out here. None of you would know the name of it or what it actually is or anything like that. But it's a medium-sized creature. It's not huge. Like it only stands when it stands up to its full height, sort of sniffing at the air. It stands about 6 feet, 6.5 feet tall. So it's not massive, but it stands there for maybe 10 minutes as you all sort of hunker down. The sergeant turns at one point and looks directly at you, Dilly, and sort of gives you a look that probably gives you a little bit of concern. And he looks back towards Varius as well, and then back to this creature. The creature then sort of turns towards the group a bit more and takes a couple of steps forward, raising its sort of head again. And it's going to roll a quick check here. 1 second. Has a high perception too, says, ooh, lucky days. After about 10 minutes or so, you watch and as the creature turns back the way it came and heads back into the forest. Heavy footfalls as it breaks branches, and then after maybe 4 or 5 footfalls, silence. You hear nothing. Sergeant holds his position for maybe another 15 or 20 minutes before slowly raising his head, turning to you guys, and give you a motion to move forward quietly. No need to reroll stealth checks. Your stealth checks will remain, as he then takes you off the path to the opposite side and in through the trees. And after about 15 or 20 minutes, you see him relax and sort of stand more up straight and brings you in and sort of says, all right, well, that was a close one. Whew. Do any of you know what that was? By any chance?
No, Sergeant, it was fascinating. I think if I was further away, I would have liked to see how it kills its prey, but...
I can tell you, it rips them limb from limb, generally. We haven't seen one this close to the keep before. It's unusual. They're normally up towards the Howling Mountains region, underground. They're normally a subterranean creature. And you see, he's obviously perplexed that he's seen one out this far where it is. He says, they call it a Doc Noche. And I'll spell it for you taking notes. D-O-K-H, because it's not spelt how it sounds. N-U-Z-E-G-H, but it is pronounced D-O-K-N-U-C-H-A-Y. Doc Noche. Just to make it really difficult for everyone.
Dilly's gonna go, Sergeant, how does it detect its prey?
Well, that's the part. That's why I was looking at you, because those creatures sense magic, and they have extreme hatred for magic, and normally they just hunt and kill practitioners of magic and the arcane. So luckily for you lot, that one obviously was after someone else. Otherwise it would have just attacked and killed you.
That must mean there's someone of a higher level around here, sir. Or Sergeant.
Not likely. They're normally done alone, and they're normally the way that they're born or trained. They're like a pit bull or a faithful hound. You train it, guard dog, sniffer dog, whatever. It's normally if you piss someone off, they normally send one of those beasties after you if you've got any magic in you, because they will go to the ends of the earth to track you down and eat you.
You said that magic had been weird for the
Aye.
last... How many years?
Last decade at least, maybe longer.
And... Let me think on that, Sergeant. I'll keep some research notes. You help me, Varys.
Mr. Uth, other than us, have you pissed off any other people lately?
I'm not even going to answer that.
Right.
You don't think he was after Blondie? I mean, he wasn't a magical person, but that portal that appeared next to him sure as hell was.
I mean, his hair was pretty magical, if it's okay to say.
I really don't think you lot are going to survive very long.
That portal was a very high-level spell, one that takes years and years of training to get to. That could be what it was smelling, and that could be what it was attracted to.
If that was the case, it would have turned up last night, not today. Those things can travel extremely quickly and over long distances in a very short space of time.
And as he's saying that, Dilly is writing all this down.
No problem. The one thing I will say is we have had reports of unusual creatures in Paradigm in the last few years. Creatures that shouldn't exist. And just bear that in mind. If you see something you don't know, make sure you take notes, like draw a picture or something to give to the mages of the keep. Because, as I said, that creature should not be on the surface right now. They are subterranean, they live underground. As you can see, it had no fucking eyes. Echolocation, I believe the mages have said that it uses from time to time, but it definitely sniffs out the arcane.
So even if I used a minor illusion, it would probably sniff me out before the illusion.
If you use the spell and you're not its target, it would, and it was in the proximity, it would probably track you and kill you. Just the use of the spell alone is enough to set it off. But if you're its specific target, whether you cast it or not, if you're of the arcane knowledge, it would hunt you down and tear you to pieces, and there'd be nothing left.
Thank you, Sergeant, for the warning.
Be on your toes, recruits. I know you're still new, and you've still got a long way to go. But once you've proved yourselves, you'll earn your cloaks. If you don't die first, that is. And he looks directly at you, Oath, when he says that, as usual. And even sort of gives a bit of a glance to Varys as well. Varys, you're definitely getting the impression that he's looking at you, sort of wondering why the hell you're even here. Alright, back in the formation. Let's get going. We've wasted too much time out here already. And he starts marching you back towards the keep once again. So, with that, we'll get a dex check from everybody as we're marching. Disadvantage for you, Tolvere, with your level of exhaustion, sir. 16 from Uth, not bad. 10, 8 from Tolvere, a little low.
17 from Dilly.
Oh, actually 4 from Uth, Tolvere.
So
Tolvere, you're struggling, and the sergeant can see it from his position at the rear, and he then double times his pace and starts keeping pace with you for a short time. Says, you're alright. You're not normally this bad.
sorry, sir. I'm staying up to watch. Just
I know. I commend you for that. I didn't even mention watch on purpose last night to see if anyone would take initiative and organize it. So, as much as you're walking out of pace and looking like a complete idiot right now, I give you credit for that. You've definitely had some military training before. That much is clear. Make sure you get a good night's rest tonight. You're going to need it.
Yes, Sergeant.
And he drops back to the back of the group. And as he sort of gets to the back, you guys see the walls of the keep start to loom up in the distance. The tree line breaks to the lower shrubs and then to grassland as you get closer and closer to the keep. You eventually make it back to the castle. When I find my castle, Dragon Scout Keep. You eventually make it back to the keep. The sounds of the soldiers training fills your ears once more. You think maybe by this time it's about mid-afternoon. You spend a bit of time out on the way back. It was a couple of 2 or 3 hour hike, but then the stop and the chat and that you ended up waiting a little bit longer. So you're about mid-afternoon by the time you reach back to the keep. You think maybe the sergeant might let you go straight back to the barracks, but no. He marches you back to the parade ground, calls a halt on the parade ground, and says, all right, now we get back to the serious stuff. I need to find out exactly how much you can avoid damage, shall we say. See that over there? And he points off into the distance, and you can see this massive contraption. It's got spinning blades. It looks like it's got big like leather balls that are spinning, a couple of rollers. It's about 60 feet long. All manner of different apparatus, and looks like there might even be a little swing bridge on there, but there's things swinging and turning, and you can see a couple of bodies, or one body in particular, running through about halfway through, and then all of a sudden they get flung off to one side and hit the ground beside it. So that's your next challenge. Let's see how you do. And he then volunteer. I like it. Let's go. So he marches you over there, and as you get closer to it, the size of the thing is more evident as you get closer to it. It's raised about 10 feet off the ground, 10-12 feet off the ground on a platform. You've got to walk up a set of stairs to the first part of it. You stand there, and the first part's just a simple swing bridge with looks like swinging leather balls almost, and you've got a couple of recruits or a couple of soldiers standing on a platform that are swinging these things backwards and forwards as you go through. Doesn't seem to be overly automated. As you look down, you see another obstacle there. Looks like it's got spinning blades with a walkway in between, which looks like you got a couple of soldiers cranking this thing by hand. So everything's done by hand. This will be a skill challenge for those as you go through it. Be a series of skill challenges. You'll be at least 2 dexterity checks, 2 strength checks, and acrobatics as well.
This is going to be bad.
Actually, let me rephrase that. 2 acrobatics checks, 2 strength checks, and then a final acrobatics at the end. So five checks. With the disadvantage, Tolver, this is going to be a little bit of a struggle for you.
Yep.
But you volunteered.
Yep.
You step up, you take your weapons off your pack, you put them down. You don't need any weapons for this. You don't wear armor anyway, but you walk your way up the steps and you position yourself at the start. The sergeant sort of calls up from the down below and says, all right, this is not about how fast you do it. Not yet, anyway. And you're never going to beat my record, so don't even try it. But it's about getting to the end in one piece. Do you understand?
Yes, Sergeant.
All right, at your leisure, throw boy. Let's do it. And you set off across the first sort of semi-swing bridge, and these large leather balls being swung backwards and forwards. I need you to make your first athletics check, please. As you go through the first section.
Does it need to be a disadvantage?
It does. It is a check. 9. It's not great. You get slammed in the side by one of them. It doesn't knock you off, however. You did just sort of scrape through. You're a little bit wobbly, but you managed to get through the first obstacle. Take a couple of bumps and knocks from these balls, but you still managed to stay. The next obstacle is looks like you've got to jump from the stand where you are, grab onto a couple of a bar at the top, and shimmy your way across. Which will be your first strength check. This is just again, it's a strength and endurance. Ooh, that is not good. A 3. Remember, you can right-click your D&D Beyond and roll that disadvantage. You don't have to roll it twice. But with a 3, your grip gives way about halfway across, and you drop 12 feet into the ground below. It's not hard, but it's not soft either. So you will take a little bit of damage here. You can take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you land awkwardly. And the sergeant sort of strolls over to you and says, do you want to give it another go, or do you think you might want to rest first?
Ground's softer here than it is at the campground, so I'll go again.
I like it. So you get back up on the start line and he sets you off again. We will forego the first extra athletics check at this point. You know what you got to do to get through this part. You still take a couple of bumps and knocks as you get through the first part. Back to the shimmy pole. You jump, you grab, start working your way across. Need you to make that strength check again. That's not bad. It's a bit of a struggle. Your wrists and forearms start to burn a little bit as you get 2/3 of the way across, and you manage to make it across slowly, but you get there. The third obstacle is a set of spinning blades that are sort of moving backwards and forwards in towards the 6-inch beam that is standing in front of you. So this will be a athletics check with a combination of a dexterity save. So your athletics check is to see if you can hold your footing. The save is to see if you can avoid the blades. So we'll make the athletics check first. 10 again. You managed to hold your footing. Only just, however. 13, sorry. Okay, better than only just. You managed to hold your footing. It's still not pretty, but it's serviceable. You managed to get through. Now I need you to make a dexterity save, which is just a straight save, no disadvantage.
Nat 1.
You get slammed by one of these spinning blades. They're not metal, they are made of wood. They're not designed to hurt or kill anyone, but they slam into you, and you will take out of this 5 points of bludgeoning damage as you are slammed by this blade. This wooden, almost like a wooden paddle almost, but it's on a slight angle, so it looks like the blade of a propeller or something. You are sent off the beam, which you will take another 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you hit the ground. The sergeant walks over to you and says, I think that's enough for you today. Maybe you should try again tomorrow.
Toby will look up with a smile on his face and I didn't see that coming.
Clearly not. Rejoin your squad, Corporal.
Yes,
As,
Sergeant.
as you stand and limp back in line.
Dilly will then put her hand up.
Young Dilly. Dolly whimpers. Let's see what you've got.
Now I have a question for the DM. Those bulls, how high off the ground are they? Off the
They are
bridge, are they?
designed to be raised and lowered according to race. So they will be lowered to enable you to feel the full effect of the course. Every obstacle is as adjustable.
Okay.
Nice try though. Nice try. Right.
Okay.
So Dilly, you make the walk up the steps. You set yourself into position. As you were doing so, you watch as each obstacle is then lowered by several soldiers working and lowering everything to a level that is more suited to one of your height and race. You step out onto the swing bridge, balancing yourself, making your way across. The balls start to swing. I need an athletics check from you, please.
16.
Dexterous as ever, you make your way across without too many hassle. Not racing, you're taking your time, watching, you're keeping an eye on those as they swing. You sort of step forward, move. You manage to do okay. You reach the next obstacle, which is the bar that you need to shimmy across. The bar is lowered to a height where you can jump and reach. You jump, you grab onto it, you start hand over hand. I need a strength check from you, please.
That is another 16.
Lily seems to be showing up her squad leader at this point. Deftly shimmying across the pole, which is about 12 feet long, 12, 14 feet long. You get across, you get to the end, you drop. Sort of bring out your hands. Your hands are a little sore, but you're doing okay. Your forearms are a little tight. You're not used to doing this kind of work. The next obstacle, the thin bar, the swinging blades. 3 sets of swinging blades to get through. So I need your athletics check first to see if you can hold your footing through this portion of the course.
Okay. 15.
You manage to do so. Balancing yourself, you start to slowly move yourself through. You get to the first set of blades. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as you weave your way through the blades.
I'm sitting here panicking because my dice have been too good to me.
I'm waiting for that low one. It's got to happen.
12.
You scrape through. You take a little bit of a nudge from one of them. You almost lose your balance towards the end. That last blade sort of catches you in the back of the shoulders as you step through. Knocks you forward and set sideways. But you get through. You're through that third obstacle. The next obstacle is, again, spinning blades, but they're not spinning vertically standing up, spinning horizontally. These ones are horizontal across the top and swinging that way. So the longer blades. There's half a dozen of them. Another narrow beam. Another athletics check, please, as you step onto the beam. This beam is narrower than the previous one, down to 4 inches from 6.
13. I'm so waiting for these guys to screw me over.
You step forward, you move forward. I need another dexterity saving throw to avoid these spinning, long spinning blades that are spinning in front of you.
6.
You get collected about halfway across. You get collected by one of these large blades. Swings down from your left. You didn't quite see it as you were looking for the one that was maybe coming in front. You didn't quite catch the one that's coming in from your left side, and it collects you right in the ribs. The blade is almost down to your hips, but you sort of spin and turn as you see it coming, and it collects you right in the ribs and sends you off the side to the right, sending you into the ground below. You hear the sergeant clapping, and you hear other soldiers sort of clapping and cheering. You will take, from the blade hitting you, you will take 7 points of bludgeoning damage. And from the fall, you'll take a further 4.
Oh, and that puts Dilly unconscious.
As the sergeant's clapping and cheering, the other cheering goes on, after about a minute or so, realizing that Dilly has not yet moved, the rest of you hear, "Cleric!" And as the cleric rushes over, turns you over, you've got blood streaming down from a gash above your eye where you fell, and they sort of turn you over and check you out, and then casts a second level healing word, which will give you 10 points of healing damage.
Okay.
As your eyes flutter open, you take that sort of sit up and think, whoa, okay, that wasn't good.
Yep.
But you hear there's still from people sort of clapping and cheering as you stand up, helped to your feet by the cleric. The cleric, again, the same cleric you saw out in the field the day before, the elven woman, picks you up, gives you a soft smile, and sort of almost ushers you back towards the line of your squad. And the sergeant sort of says to you, well done for your first attempt, it's not bad.
Permission if I get collected again, Sergeant, to use a spell to make it so I don't hit the ground.
Oh no, that's not how it works, lass. Teaching you how to take a hit as well as taking damage. I mean, I suggest you go to the infirmary a bit later, make sure you're not concussed. You took a bit of a wee knock there.
Just a tad.
Right, back in line. Who's next?
Mr. Uth, I've been taking some notes from our two companions, and with 12 years of military experience, I've determined one thing. We are, as the locals like to say, up shit creek.
And with that, I push Talvir.
You push Various forward.
Yes. Well, nudge him forward.
Nudge him forward. The sergeant is watching. He sees this. Actually, I'll make a roll. See if he notices the nudge. No, he didn't. So Various, as you nudge, wow, Various, you're a keen one, aren't you? Trust you not to volunteer though, Uth. I'd expect nothing less from you. But Various, step up. Give it a go. So with that,
Yes, Sergeant.
Various gingerly goes up the stairwell to the obstacle course, which is reset to match his height. And awesome, thanks, Baz. Just got that message. Brilliant. Set you in place. You step out onto the swing bridge and the swinging balls for the first obstacle. Your athletics check, please. Which is not great for you. I mean, not great for anyone, really. -1. It wasn't a natural one, however, guys. Actually, no, is it a -1? It is a minus. It is a natural one. Because you got a -1. Well, no, it isn't. You got a 2, didn't you?
It's weird because I'm pretty sure I rolled a 1 and I've got -2.
So it should be, yeah, no, it's -1. Because 1 takes you down 0, -1. So you got to, so it's not a natural one. My mistake. But either way, you are slammed hard by one of the balls. Swings into you, and you didn't even see it coming. You turn at the last second, and it slams you right in the chest. And these leather balls are like medicine balls. They're huge and they're heavy. And chat, damn you. You don't take it to the face as the chat would suggest, but you are knocked off the platform and sent to the ground with a heavy thud. You will take 1 point of bludgeoning damage, as it's only 10 feet or 10 or 12 feet. Sergeant walks up to you, picks you up, and says, "You might want to try that again. That was disgraceful. Try opening your eyes, son. You might see it coming next time."
Yeah, I... All right. And I'll climb back up against my better judgment.
Back up you go, and back out onto the swinging bridge you go, and another athletics check, please.
Oh, God.
It seems that Varys is just not very dexterous today, and is knocked off again, and takes a further You take a further 2 points of bludgeoning damage as once again you hit the dirt. Sergeant says, back in lane.
Ow.
You can sort of see him shaking his head, and you see the look as you turn around and head back towards the squad. The other soldiers that have started to hang around now, because everyone sort of likes to watch people do this course, and the looks on their faces like, "Ooh, that's gotta hurt," kind of thing as you limp back towards the squad. All right, Doof. Let's see if your skills is as good as your trap. And he follows you up to the thing and says, "Right, I got a special gift for you."
Oh fuck!
And he walks back down and he gives the soldiers a nod, and they crank up the pace a little bit. The large medicine balls start swinging a little faster and harder. You see the first spinning blade trap, the second spinning blade trap have started to spin faster as well. You step out onto the swing bridge and start making your way across. Your athletics check, please.
Before that, I just want to do not that it's probably going to do anything, but I want to concentrate on the timing of it.
It's not really going to make much difference. I mean, you can study it for a second or two. You'd probably get the sergeant tell you to hurry up.
Yeah,
move on.
That.
Buddy,
So what's the first one?
Athletics check. For you, it would be at disadvantage because it is moving faster. The course has been set to its advanced setting, shall we say. Not bad, 14. You step out, you manage, the first one catches you by surprise and misses you narrowly. You sort of then get into the swing of things, you start moving across. Next 2 or 3 manage to get past without too many hassles at all. You then get to the next obstacle, which is the hand over hand bar. You stand, you sort of have a look at it, and you jump. Start moving. Strength check, please.
Just normal?
Just a normal. This one will be just a normal, yes.
And I fall flat on my face.
You get about halfway across, and your left hand gives way. You're there dangling by one hand for a few seconds before falling. As you fall, you catch your chin on the crossbar. And you will take... Ooh, this is nasty. 11 points of bludgeoning damage, which is a combination of hitting the crossbar and the ground. Sergeant comes over and says, not saying too much right now, are you?
And with that, I get back up and try it again.
Do you say anything to the sergeant, or we just get back and walk back to
Nope.
the start?
Get back, walk back to the start.
All right. He gives the soldiers a nod, and the first obstacle seems to slow just a little, not too much. You start out, athletics check on this one again, just a straight roll.
Sorry, the wrong one.
I mean, if you want to acrobat your way across here, that's up to you. If you want to try and show the sergeant up, if you want to make, I'll say acrobatics or athletics, up to you. If you want to do something special with an acrobatics, it's up to you.
I'll keep it with that then.
So, what would you say would be your acrobatic feat to get across that bar without being hit?
More of a pirouette around.
So, you get through the first one okay, the second one comes around and you dodge backward, you sort of lean backwards first, and then you spin in a bit of a pirouette, almost dance-like in movement, but very dexterous, and you manage to get past through the obstacle without any hassles at all. Back to the bar, you jump, you grab hold, you start your way across. Your strength check, please. It's not great, but it's not bad. You get about 2/3 of the way across, and your forearms are really starting to burn. Like another foot, and you're there. You manage to make it just. You almost overbalance as you reach the end though, and almost fall backwards, sort of having to wave your arms to balance yourself. You right yourself, you steady yourself, you're good. Now we reach the stand-up blades, the spinning horizontally. 3 of them moving backwards and forwards in and out from the beam that you're walking on.
I again concentrate on the timing.
No problem. I will take away the disadvantage for you taking the time to concentrate and try and figure out the timing. It is faster than before, so the DC is a little higher. So your athletics or acrobatics, depending on which you decide to use for this.
Probably go with acrobatics.
Okay. Roll your acrobatics. Straight roll, but DC is a little higher.
Nat 20, 21.
Ooh, Uth is showing everyone up. This time it's not just a pirouette. This is a handspring. He gets halfway through and just handsprings through the obstacle, easily making it through to the other side. Much to the cheers of the other soldiers around. The sergeant at this point is remaining quiet, just watching closely. The next obstacle, is the long bar with the big blades swinging around, say half a dozen blades to get through. Again, the beam narrows down to 4 inches from 6, so it's a little bit harder. Taking the time to concentrate again on the timing, I assume.
Yep.
You make your athletics or acrobatics, up to you. I mean, they're both dex based, so 13, not bad. You get about halfway across. You duck and weave and move your way through. A bit of a roll on the center there to get through one of them. As you get through to the end, however, you get clipped by the last one. Doesn't knock you off, but it hurts, and it'll deal one bludgeoning damage as it sort of catches you in the sort of on the back of the shoulders. The next obstacle is a little different. You now have got what they call the stepping stones. You've got several poles that have been put into the ground at different heights and different distances apart. Each pole is approximately sort of 4 or 5 inches in diameter, so they're not very big enough to get a single foot on. The object is to get to the opposite end, obviously, without falling. This one, there's no timing to study, so it's a straight roll
athletics.
Anyway. Straight roll,
yeah,
athletics. Yeah, no acrobatics on this one. So straight roll, but the DC is set, so it is up to you. Now
I want to use advantage.
Go for it. That's what they're there for. We'll put the emote up for the nat 1 anyway, because why not? Using your advantage.
Yep.
15, not bad. You just managed to make it. You get halfway through, you wobble, you stand, you're trying to hold that balance. 2/3 of the way through, you're getting more and more wobbly as you get to the end, but you manage to make it to the end. The next one is, and the final one on this, is a rope climb. 30 feet, straight up, and there's a bell at the top. You grab the rope, prepare yourself. This is all strength. 2 strength checks, one for each 15 feet of rope that you got to climb. So I need your first strength check as you ascend the first 15 feet. Not good. It's slow going. In fact, you get about 10 feet up, and then you slide 5 feet back, which burns your hands. Don't take any damage, but it's going to make it more difficult to continue to climb. I'll get you to make another strength check as you head back up. You got another advantage.
And I'm using advantage.
Okay, using the advantage just given. With a roll of a 5, you're definitely going to need the advantage. So make another roll.
Whew.
Better. You make it up to the 20-foot mark after sliding 5. Your final strength check to make it to the top and ring the bell.
Fuck.
Natural 1. That's it for you. You get 2 feet from the top. You think, yes, I've got it. You reach out with that one hand and try and stretch to tap that bell, and your left hand just gives way, and you fall to the ground, flat on your back, taking the wind out of your body. And unfortunately for you, you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall nearly 30 feet to the ground. Are you still conscious?
Yes. I got 5 HP left.
You slam into the ground, the breath leaves your body, and again, the cheers from the other soldiers are quite loud and can be heard. A couple of minutes, about a minute or so goes past as you start to slowly collect yourself, pick yourself up, and Sergeant Stormhammer is standing at the edge of the course waiting for you. As you brush yourself off and move over towards him and move past him, he just quietly says, "Well done. You do quite well when you keep your mouth shut. Back in line."
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, you lot. That's your first taste of the obstacle course. You now know what's to be expected. You now know that it can be adjusted. Speed and height. We can make it more difficult if we need to. You are more than welcome to spend time on this course in your free time. If you get hurt, not my fucking problem. We got an infirmary, you know where it is, you know how to use it. And by this stage we're getting now towards chow time, so it's getting close. So he turns to you, Tolvir, and says, "Alright, march him to fucking chow, and then the night's yours to do what you want."
Alright, ladies and gents, let's march to there. And he'll march to there.
Yes,
So-
Corporal.
So you head out, you march to the chow hall, you head into the chow hall. I would say by now you're all extremely hungry, dirty and hurt. One of the other corporals, the one Jared that doesn't like Uth very much, as you guys are waiting in line for your chow, walks up to you, Uth, and sort of gives you a jab in the ribs with the elbow and says, "Hey, you did all right. You did okay on that course. I mean, pity you fell off the end, but you did all right for your first go." And he turns to all of you at this point and says, "But you guys need to bathe. You guys fucking stink. You know we've got like bathing facilities, right? You've been here 4 fucking days and you haven't bathed yet. Sort
What
your
about
shit
Dilly?
out." Dilly, you're probably not really too worried about you because you were in the river, so you're probably okay. But the rest of you, like, you guys stink. And he goes, "You know where the bathing facilities are? You were showing, right, on your first day?" "No? Yes?"
No.
Wait.
I don't
Like-
believe so.
You
Is
see-
he Corporal or Sergeant?
You see these here? This is Corporal, and when I speak to you guys, you'll fucking answer, right?
So
Have you been
no, Corporal.
shown where the bathing facilities are?
I don't
I
believe
must
we
have
were,
forgotten,
Corporal. I don't believe we were, Corporal, but I believe we walked past them when we were shown to our bunks.
Indeed you were. You've got a keen sense on you. I suggest you use it before you sleep this evening. Sergeant doesn't really smell too good. That's probably why he hasn't noticed. Just information. But when an officer or a junior officer speaks to you, make sure you respond appropriately.
My apologies, Corporal.
I'll give you guys a little
Yes,
bit of
Corporal.
slack because you're still new. You've only been here. You've been here less than a week, but you'll get used to it. We've all been through it. Tolvir, if you need any tips, help with the whole rank thing, come and see me. I'm happy to help you guys out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, not all officers are dicks, right, guys?
I don't believe they are, sir. Sorry.
Please don't call me sir.
Yeah, sorry. That's going to take me some getting used to.
I can understand it. I mean, if you've served before and you're used to that kind of rank appropriation, I mean, it's just not how we work it here.
Apologies, Corporal. I am still learning what these, and I point to the shoulder thing, mean.
Yeah, so what you see with his is it's a basic bronze pauldron. It's nothing flash, but it has almost like a hammered tin edge to it, which gives it almost like a single stripe. A corporal has generally a single stripe in most military forces, so it almost looks like a single stripe of silver type metal over the very edge of it. And he turns and says, "That one over there, Sergeant Stormhammer," and he says he's another sergeant over there. He ports over a couple of tables over, and you see that the sergeant's ones are slightly bigger, same sort of hammered bronze, but theirs has two almost chevron type sections to them in a more of a goldish metal. You're not entirely sure what it is. It probably looks like it might be hammered copper potentially, but it's two inverted chevrons for the sergeants. And he says you'll know the higher ranking officials. The majors obviously all wear robes. Their robes are trimmed in gold and not silver. That you don't call them sir or any kind of rank, but you will listen to what they have to say and follow their orders regardless. The general, obviously you met him on your first day. His are quite evident. They are the largest of all of the pauldrons, and they have a gold dragon head as part of it. He is the highest rank we have. We don't hold many ranks. Corporal, sergeant, majors, the higher ranking majors that is. And of course the clerics. The clerics wear a slightly different cloak. Still trimmed in silver like the rest of us, but it has a slightly different dragon's head on it. Nothing, it's quite subtle, but you'll learn to notice.
Is there higher ranks within the Queen's Castle?
The highest rank is the Queen, of course, but you have the City Guard, which are technically the same as us. They have their same ranks, the corporals and sergeants and such. The captain of the City Guard, of course. But they also follow the same laws we do, and we help them on occasion. The next rank, if you will be the Queen's personal guard. They're above the City Guard, and in some regards above us also. But they still recognize General Brogder's rank. You'll learn these things as we go along.
Various is writing it down. The bigger the bars, the higher the rank.
Pretty much.
If you'll excuse me, Corporal, I would like to quickly eat. There is something I would like to do before I go bathe, if that's okay with you.
Carry on.
And Dilly will scoff down her food as quick as possible.
He turns on his heels and heads back to his table. So again, you all eat. Dilly eats as fast as she possibly can. By now you're starting to get used to it. This is now your 4th or 5th day of eating in this fashion, so no need for a con save. You are definitely starting to get used to it.
I will.
The rest of you, I would say, are getting used to the idea of eating a little faster than usual to get as much rest as you possibly can, or either any other activities you wish to complete before sleep. Dilly, what did you want to do specifically before heading back to the barracks?
So, Dilly is going to go to the arcane range. The whole Blondie has made her want to try again.
Okay.
So, she will put a tray up, say, "Excuse me, Corporal, I will be at the arcane range," and then walk out and go.
No worries. So you make your way over to the arcane range. no one else there. It's empty. The sun is still up, but you probably maybe got about an hour before the sun sets. It is starting to get a little bit dark, so there are some torches and that being lit around the top of the castle keep and inside the castle keep especially as well. So, Dilly.
Tolvir would eat and then follow Dilly.
Okay.
Just because he didn't see her disappear last time.
Oh, okay. So you're going to follow stealthily or just casually?
Casually in the background, so
Okay.
I'm probably stealthy, but I'm not.
So, I mean, what's Dilly's passive?
Come on. My passive is 12.
I'd say you'd probably notice him if he's not trying to hide. But he's hanging back. He's not, like, he's doing it in such a way he's not trying to be intrusive. But he is following.
Okay. Dilly will acknowledge the corporal as she's standing there and sees him there.
Yeah.
She's going to warm up with a couple of fire bolts.
Just cantrips, yeah.
Yep, just cantrips.
No need to roll for it. I think I know where you're going with this, so no need to roll for the cantrips.
And then she's going to look down the barrel of the range. She's going to maneuver her hands into like a big flame, like a big ball like this. She's going to twist her hands and she's going to, do motions and all that kind of stuff. And then she's going to go, Ifrit! Like this. And she's going to just stand there and hope that what she just cast was Fireball.
Does Dilly have the ability to cast Fireball? I do not believe she does.
Not at this moment of time, no.
So, what we see happen, or what you see happen, Tolvir specifically, is she goes through those motions. She says the arcane word and holds her hands out. Dilly, you hold your hands out there probably a full minute before realizing that nothing has happened.
She's
not
going
even the warmness in the hands, or just nothing. No heat, no flame.
She's going to try again with the fireball and go Ifrit, and she's just going to stand there and go Keki, please, as she's standing there.
How long do you stand there and attempt to
I'd
cast
probably
this
do it
particular
about
spell?
4 or 5 times.
I would need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please. As you were trying to draw on arcane energies, which are far above your capabilities, which will be very taxing for you.
That will be a 6.
After the 4th or 5th cast, you drop to your knees. Your mind and your body are spent. You are now suffering from one level of exhaustion.
Yep.
As you just cannot do what you're trying to do. It's frustrating. It's exhausting.
And she's probably felt this before.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and at that, she's going to stand up and slowly walk to the barracks.
When she fell to her knee, Tolvir would move forward to her.
Does Tolvir say anything to Dilly at this point?
You alright? You look pretty drained.
It was a foolish hope that Blondie kind of sparked.
Well, come with me to the infirmary, and he's going to pick her up. Like, attempt to pick her up.
Does Dilly allow him to pick her up?
I think she's too tired to even try to
Okay.
fight. Yeah.
So no strength checking needed because she is a lot smaller than you, and you are easily able to pick her up.
Yeah. Pick her up in his arms, and he's going to carry her to the infirmary.
No worries. We'll leave you guys there for a moment. Uth and Various, you get through your meals about the same time as the rest of them. You guys are getting used to eating a bit faster, and you decide to do whatever you're going to do. What are you guys going to do after you finish your meals? Do you go out with the other two, or do you do your own thing?
I'm heading to the library.
The library for Uth. Various. Do you say anything to Various, or you just head out to your on your own, Uth?
I just head out on my own.
So what is Various doing?
Various is going to go to the obstacle course.
Oh, is he? Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So, with that, we will go with Uth for a moment. Uth, you head. You probably don't know where the library specifically is, so you probably stop and ask someone. Whether it's an officer or not doesn't really matter. You sort of stop and ask, and they say, "Oh, I think it's over there, mate. Like down that corridor there, and turn left. Next, first left, second right, fourth door on the right." And
Thanks for that.
You find it. You find it eventually. Might get a little confused initially, but you eventually find the library, which is quite a large room. The room itself is about 60 feet long, about 40 feet wide. Both exterior walls are lined with large shelves with many books and tomes, and then there are one section where there's sort of shelves running down one side, like rows of different shelves, again full of tomes and books and things. There are 2 or 3 robed individuals roaming around. One that's wearing the cloak that was described to you by Corporal Jared. Seems to be possibly in charge in this area.
Well, I'm going to see if I can find the books myself, but I'm looking specifically to increase insight awareness and stuff like that. Also looking into medicine, anything to do with wisdom.
So books you want to read to increase your wisdom. So I would say for you specifically too, the use of your psionic powers would, I would say, increase your wisdom somewhat as well. So just bear that in mind. So roll an investigation check for me to see if you can navigate this library and sort of find what you're sort of looking for.
17.
17's not bad. You sort of mill around for a little bit and you go through. I mean, you're not stupid, so you go through a few volumes and you look, and it looks like they've been in some kind of order, alphabetical it seems. You find 2 books that may serve your purpose. I do have a roll table for this, I believe.
Uh-oh. I'm in trouble.
No, it's just a. It's called an interesting books roll table. So, the first book you find, you're not sure if it'll help or not, but it seems interesting. 50 Shades of Drow. Bestseller among women, as it details the finer points of the matriarchal society with tips on how to properly train and punish your manservants while maintaining your femininity. This book would be banned if only men would actually read it. It might work, you're not sure. The next book you find is 1011 Prayers for the Dead. A large black covered book describing the funeral rites or funeral rituals of almost every culture known to the world. So probably the second book may actually serve more than the 50 Shades of Drow. So those are the 2 books that you've found that may help you in this instance. Are you you need to. Are you going to try and take them from the room, or are you going to talk to someone before you do? What is your intention?
I'll talk to someone before I do.
So you move towards the robed individual that you've been pointed out as being one of the higher level mages. Blue robe, the white dragon's head with the gold trim on the back of the cloak, and they're wearing the hoods up, sort of pale blue robes, hands inside the robes as he turns. An older gentleman, looks elvish to you. You're not 100% sure. You can't really see his ears, and he says, "Yes, may I help you?"
I found these books. They might help me. Would you have any suggestions of other books, and can I borrow these?
You may not remove the books from the library, but you are more than welcome to sit here and read whenever you have the time, of course. Many of these books are rare, and we do not allow them to leave the library. And he sort of looks down at the books and says, the prayers of the dead may help you improve your wisdom somewhat. I don't know about the 50 Sage of Drow, however. It seems like a topic. Maybe this
weird.
one. Maybe this one here. This one is an interesting book. Be careful who sees you reading it, however. It is a book called We've All Made Mistakes. It is an introduction to necromancy, I believe, on how to raise your wife from the dead. Are you married, by any chance?
No.
Maybe not the book for you then. And he takes that one back from you. Says maybe this one will probably suit you better. A library book of libraries, a photo book, and in fact showing a series of decrepit bookshelves along with its location. So this may help you indeed. And as you look up into his face, you can see he's quite blind. His eyes are milky white, and yeah, he's quite blind.
Okay, thank you. I'll definitely look at them.
So you can sit in the library and read. You would have to. I mean, you've got downtime. You've got about maybe 2 or 3 hours before you would have to really head back to the barracks. So what I will say is you just log your reading time before you every day. For you to increase your wisdom by 1, you're going to have to log. Let me roll a dice here. 19 hours of reading time.
That's a couple of days.
It's a little bit.
More than a couple.
It's more than a couple of days. You're going to take probably 3 or maybe a week, 10 days of solid reading.
Probably a month.
Depending on the downtime. I mean, it really just
2
depends.
2 hours reading each night.
I said you might find ways around that if you're lucky. But 19 hours. So mark that down, 19 hours. So you can mark off 2 or 3 hours for tonight. Because I'm dare say that's what it's going to do for the remainder of the evening before heading back to the barracks. Yep. We'll now switch over to Various. Various, you head out to the obstacle course. There is no one operating it, so it is stationary. But obviously the balancing part of it, the beams, the crossbar, and the rope are you're still able to use it. DCs will be set a lot lower because nothing's moving if you still wish to run it.
So Various grabs out a book, and it's pretty much just a study of Uth. he's like studying him in particular, and it's got like a little checklist of like how many days he survived and stuff. He's like height's comparable. I've got hooves, and hooves should be less clumsy than feet. And Oof seems a little bit dim-witted, and I should be able to do this. On paper, it makes sense. And I'm going to sort of look through the book, and then I'm going to climb up and try and do it while it's all turned off.
So you step out onto the swing bridge. And so I'll need your athletics or acrobatics check for the first section.
So, having studied Uth, I'm going to go with acrobatics
No
because
worries.
that's. So I'm going to try and
Not a
mimic
problem.
what he did and hope it goes better. 9.
Nine's not bad, considering nothing's actually working. You step out there. The bridge swings a little bit. You're a little bit unsure of your footing, but you make it across. You have to sort of step around one of the swinging balls because it's sort of sitting in the center. But you make it across. Not too much of a hassle. The next is the cross beam, which you got to hand over hand. So you jump up and grab that and start handing over hand. So you need a strength check now, which I believe is not good for various.
No.
I mean, it is a much lower DC, so there's still a chance. Nope.
I'm going to use one of my advantages and hope that. Oh, shit.
Yeah, no,
No.
not at all. I can hear myself somewhere. Why am I hearing myself? Anyway, no, with a 0, you don't even get halfway across. You get sort of 2 or 3 feet out from the bar and your hands slip and give way. Fall 12 feet to the ground, taking 2 points of bludgeoning damage. Do you dust yourself off and try again? Or do you give up?
I dust myself off and try again. At least this time I wasn't beaten by balls.
We'll forego the first check. You managed to get through that one okay, so we'll let you get through that. Back to the strength check bar. You jump, you grab onto it again. Your strength check, please.
Why? Why does it have to be?
Why? Another
I want to
2.
use this inspiration.
Damn.
I know.
Are you going to take that
Come on.
roll, or are you going to use another? Have you got anything else
I'm
to
gonna
use?
use it. Inspiration.
I think you've got
10.
a DN's inspiration too, don't forget.
Yeah.
Which is a
I'll
reroll.
use that one.
I'll
use
your
the
10 will,
inspo.
yeah, the inspo will go.
Yeah.
So your 10 will be good. So you managed to make it across this time. It's a little iffy towards the end. Your wrists and hands are burning. Like just you're not very strong. You know you're not very strong, so it doesn't really surprise you. The next obstacle, the upright spinning blades. You walk out onto the beam. So this is just basically a sense of balance. So again, acrobatics.
Yep. 10.
10, it's respectable. You walk your way through. Again, you sort of have to climb over, almost a hop, skip, jump over the set of blades that are sort of sticking into the center because they're not spinning anymore. And you manage to get through that without too many hassles. Next up is the larger spinning blades that are spinning from the top. And thank you, Drax. And your acrobatics for that one as well, please.
8.
It's not great. You do wobble a couple of times getting across this. I mean, this one's a little bit easier because the blades are kind of all up away from the beam. They're not actually anywhere near the beam, so it's just a walk across without any obstacles. But your footing's not the greatest on this narrower beam. But you make it across just. The next one is the stepping stones, the poles that you need to step across. Again, this one will be athletics, not acrobatics. Okay. This is all about strictly keeping your balance on the smaller platforms. In fact, I'll give you advantage because your feet are a lot smaller than the rest of the groups.
Let's see if that'll help.
You would probably be able to get both feet on with your hooves being that much smaller.
15 with a -2.
It's not bad. This one seems okay. You managed to sort of clip-clop your way across the top of these beams up as you go up one side, then sort of down, then up. It's almost in a wave motion. So there's a few that go up, then they go down, then they go up again, then down again to the other side. You're now standing looking at the rope with the bell at the top, 30 feet from ground to top. 2 strength checks. Your first. You know you're going to struggle with this one. This one's DC set the same because it's just pure strength.
So I look up and I grab hold of my chest and I go, before I go, and I'll cast Cure Wounds on myself. So
roll that Cure Wounds. Oh shit!
5
points of healing damage.
Which is all my health back. Which is still not a lot.
You don't have a lot, no.
No, strength check.
Strength check, sir. Yes. You don't even get off the ground. You go to grab it and you go, and you just think, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. You can give it one more shot if you wish to see if you can get up again, but
I'm going to
the DC will get progressively higher with every failure.
I'm going to try use Mirthful Leap to try and get as high as I can before I start climbing.
Okay.
So that's like a D8 to roll, see how high I can jump.
Okay, ice right. Yes, you do have that too. So roll your D8, see if you can get yourself a little bit further up.
Why?
A whole foot. So roll your strength check as you jump and get a foot up the rope.
Oh, man.
Are you not having... Oh, 9, that's not bad. It's still not great. You get 9 feet up the rope. You're now 10 feet off the ground, hanging onto this rope. Need another strength check from you. You're looking at a 15 or better, unfortunately. Yeah, no.
I'm going to burn at advantage. I don't think it's going to help, but I'm going to burn it anyway.
Okay. That's what they're there for. Don't forget your channel points, guys. You can help these guys out with their rolls. Nope, 6
Exactly
again.
Same roll.
Exactly the same roll. So unfortunately, you're hanging on there. You're struggling. Your arms are shaking. Your wrists and hands are burning, and you're only 10 feet off the ground, but you drop. You'll take 1 point of damage as you get rope burn, as you drop from rope, not wanting to let go. You were determined to stay on that rope, but your hands are now burning with rope burn. You'll also take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you hit the ground.
Back to what I was at.
So yeah, unfortunately it's not going to work for you tonight, Varys. I would say at this point you would probably give up in disgust.
Yeah, I would wash the stench of Feyre off me.
So you're going to go bathe before heading back to the barracks.
Yeah.
We will briefly, I know we're a little bit over time, we'll briefly head back to Tolvir and Dilly before we finish up. So what do you got? You were taking Dilly to the infirmary, yes?
Yes, Tolvir will carry her to the infirmary, open the door with his tail to get there, sort of flag someone down.
You know you don't have to do this, Corporal.
Yep, well, I saw you fall earlier and you didn't get back up then, so...
So with that, the person that's in the infirmary, a cleric, the same cleric that healed you back at the obstacle course, is wondered when you would come and see me. Please take a seat.
Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot. Yes, of course. And I sit down.
She...
Tolvir will place her in a seat.
Okay. So the cleric turns to you, Tolvir, and says, if you don't mind, this might take a few moments, but privacy and all.
Okay, I will wait outside because I need to talk to you too.
As you wish. And she then proceeds to check you over, Dilly. She does. Did you get all your health back when you healed before?
I needed one more hit point.
Okay. So she tops you up to bring you back to max as she takes you over and says, take this tonic. And she gives you a little pouch with looks like a bunch of little bunch of herbs and bits and pieces in it. She says, boil it in water for about 5 or 10 minutes and then sip it before going to sleep this evening. It'll help with the haziness after the knock to the head.
Yes.
Mild concussion, I would think.
Maybe. Thank you. I've had worse, but thank you. I appreciate it.
You take care, young one. As she opens the door and sends you out.
How old does she look?
Physically, she would look maybe in her 40s. But with an elf, you would know that she could be anywhere from 40 to 500. Not entirely sure.
So she's of the same opinion with me. Not sure.
Elves are pretty smart with it. I mean, she looks like she's been around. I mean, she's definitely smart enough. So the fact she's called you young one
makes me think,
potentially she could probably have an idea. So you are led out. Tolvera is waiting outside for you.
You wanted to speak with the
Yes, I do. You can go on your way if you're good.
Yes, and I will go back to the barracks and I will bathe and brew the tea, and then I will actually go to bed.
No problems. Tolvera, you make your way into the
Tolvera's going to say,
room.
Go in and say, is she alright?
She'll be fine. Mild concussion from the blow to the head.
Okay.
Nothing we haven't seen many times before.
That's good. I just want to have a look. So I might have broken a rib earlier when I fell out of a tree.
Let me take a look. And she asks where it hurts. You pointed out to her, and she literally prods that spot. And it hurts. And probably, depending on, I'm not sure how you would react. I mean, you're probably used to a bit of pain, so you probably got a reasonably high pain threshold, I'd imagine.
He would grimace, but so yes, that's the spot.
I believe you may have broken a couple, perhaps. Give me one moment, and she places a hand over your ribs, and she will cast Cure Wounds, which should heal your rib quite nicely, and you will receive 12 points of healing damage.
Excellent.
With that cast, you feel the warm sensation. You've been healed before. You know what it's all about. You know the feeling, and you sort of stand up and reach your arm up, stretch it. It's a little tight, but it's not sore.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Is there anything else that I may aid you with this evening?
No, thank you.
I shall bid you good night then.
Yes, thank you. And Toby is going to stand and nod and leave. And then he is going to go and bathe.
No worries. And that is where we'll call tonight's session, guys. We will pick up as probably Tolvera and Various and Uth make it to the barrack room. Nice to see you guys quoting in the chat. We'll definitely get some of those quotes coming out later on during other streams.
I'm having a ball.
I can see that. So, chat, well done. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again tonight on another Sunday night. Not Curse of Strahd, but I hit myself there. That's not till Wednesday. Shadows Embrace, Paradigm 2, our second homebrew campaign. Thank you, players, for joining us this evening. GG's everyone. You guys did amazing with your RP once again. So, as per usual, guys, we will get some moments from our players and from you guys in the chat. If you have a moment that stood out from you tonight, at Evldoa, put it in the chat. We'll read it out. But we're going to start with Mr. Doof, or Earth Smartridge, tonight. Mr. Trashman, a moment from you, please, sir.
I'll start off with Torville, whatever his name is. Tolvera. Falling out of the tree. That was fun.
That was a good moment. I don't know if it was fun, but it was a good moment.
And the other one is I can't remember his character's name. I can never remember his character's name. Grimm's character.
Various. You have to write these down, Trash. Your memory's terrible.
Yes,
It's just like reading,
anyway,
reading your sheet. You got to make notes of these things.
What's his name again?
Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah, him trying to work out why I can't do something where he should be able to do it better or something.
Oh, Varys,
On
yes. The obstacle course. Yeah, but because you're an arsehat. I mean, you're a fuckhead. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know.
And transition into Varios, Mr. Grimm.
I liked, even though it was very awkward, Dilly trying to help Various out with his
the horn
his
incident.
headache.
Playing with the tip of his horn.
The horn incident. Consent is important. And also, like it was very visual. The whole spell thing later on, and Uth going to the library. Who would have thought he could read?
I know, right? And yes, Drax, I did see that pause in that conversation. That did not go unnoticed. Yes. Anything else, Mr. Varios?
No, I'll leave the rest for everyone else.
Miss Dilly Timbers, or Dolly Whimpers.
I kind of liked. Oh god, now you've got me doing Corporal. I'm just gonna go with Corporal and stick with that. It's because I've been calling him Corporal in the game because that's Tolvir. Tolvir. Telling them to drink, and then Drax going, "Oh shit, I forgot I had rank."
Hey, well, I mean, at least they followed orders. Well, Dilly didn't, but
Dilly still did it as if she was doing the follow the orders.
Pretty much. It was funny.
And I also liked him helping Dilly up the tree. Not appreciative of how he did it, but
yeah, it was a bit of a private moment. I mean,
she wasn't real comfortable with it.
Shades of Emilia and Scathus there, I think.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed, like Trashy said, the whole Various going back to the course and trying to do it better than what Oos did, because Oos in his mind is an absolute idiot.
Definitely. And lastly but not leastly, Mr. Tolvir.
Well, the funny thing with the Dilly climbing the tree is when she was trying to climb up, what's his name, to touch his horns, I was going to say that I'm going to do the same thing to you again, not giving you warning. And then that whole thing went down. I was like, nah, this is good enough as it is. So I had Dilly climb the tree. Various try not to barf on the sergeant.
That was a good one, yeah.
The whole horn
incident
saga.
Yeah, the horn incident.
The 50 Shades of Drow.
What better time to use these roll tables? I got a whole bunch of roll tables, and it just says interesting books. There's 100 interesting books, and some of them are really weird, like 50 Shades of Drow. And I thought, well, hey, we'll give it to Uth and see what he does with it. I think you did pretty well with that, Trash.
And last one is Varys' study of Uth.
Yes,
I like that.
His case study. And of course, for me, I think again, all you guys did so well with RP. Dilly's arcane range scene, trying to cast a fireball. I'm not going to go any further into detail about it than that, because it is there is reasons why, but that I thought that was really cool for those reasons. And obviously Tolvir being sort of there and helping her, even though she probably didn't really need it, but at the same time, it's showing a softer side of Tolvir as well, which is kind of interesting. We had a couple in chat here. We had Yanti breaking the DM was my favorite, and yes, Yanti, you did. What else we here? Yeah, Drax's cleric says, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And his mind's in the gutter instantly. And I saw the pause too. Like I said, it definitely didn't go unnoticed, dude. Like I saw that face. I was thinking, I was waiting for it. Come on, do it. Say something. and get yourself turned into a frog or something.
Olvia wouldn't, that's the problem. But I totally would.
Orgasm liked the magic eating raptor with gammy extra hands. That creature was one of the monsters from the DM Dave Patreon. It was one of the monsters I got from him. So it is a very interesting creature. A lot of these creatures I have wanted to introduce into the realm. And like I said, this coming Thursday, we're probably going to do some more monster stat stuff. And what I'm asking for you guys in the chat, if you can be there Thursday, come up with some hybrid monsters. Get your DM's manuals out, get your other monster stats and that out. Come up with some hybrid creatures that we can mush together and potentially put into this campaign. Because of the arcane issues, there are other things happening which are causing random and sporadic monster fusing, shall we say. So any monster hybrids that you think might be cool, DM me in Discord, come along Thursday night and hang out and help us put something together, because I'll get your guys' help in the chat to maybe mush some of these together and manage some of their different abilities and skills. A beholder Tarask. A beholder-ask. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Not. Oh, but I like where you're going with that, Baz. But anywho, that's it from us tonight, guys. We are done for another Sunday night. I will be back tomorrow making some maps. Second level on Beliar Manor. We did first level last week, so this week we're going to be doing level 2 on the Beliar Manor. We will definitely sort that out. I will address your DM at some stage, Mr. Baz. But yes, on that note too, Mr. Orbasm, I know you're going to be here anyway, but over the next couple of sessions, be prepared to join the campaign. I think we're almost at that stage where we may see the immersion of your character.
Well, not him again. No, just no.
Hey, he hasn't killed your character twice. 3 times, twice, something. 3 times, is it, Drax? At least 2 or 3 times.
At least twice.
But that's it from us, guys. We're going to raid Aussie Devfro. I think they've not long been going. We'll see you guys over there. Make sure you chuck them a follow, 100%. As I said, come back tomorrow for some map making and some of the new bot stuff too. I'll be turning all the new bot commands and that on for tomorrow night. There's a whole bunch of sound stuff. Stuff that you guys that have been around since Mixer will probably recognize that I've brought back from the old Mixer stream. Some of the old interactive buttons I'm going to put into commands. So definitely come and hang out and have a play around with them and annoy the shit out of me. So we will see you guys tomorrow evening for some map making. Until then, take care, guys. We will see you when we see you. Press the button. Here it is.